Well, the past has come back to me again. Last time it was Wild Guns Reloaded, but for this, had to bring the couch back for this one. If you didn't know, I used to do a show on this channel called the HVGN, and many years ago, over the span of a few poorly lit, overly compressed videos, I reviewed every game featured in the new compilation pack, the Disney Afternoon Collection. DuckTales 1 and 2, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers 1 and 2, Darkwing Duck, and Tailspin. That's right, this set features some of the greatest games on the NES and Tailspin. It's a fantastic set with a ton of extras, but this is the first time any of these games has been re-released. Ever. DuckTales was lucky enough to get a remake, but that's as close as any of these got. Absolutely none of these games ever came to Virtual Console or anything like that, and the $20 price tag is a damn steal, so let's take a look. First off, Digital Eclipse's design team deserves a medal because the Disney Afternoon Collection's UI is amazing. Took me a while before I actually started playing any of the games because I was so captivated by these Jazz Cup-ass menus. By the way, this design is called the Jazz Cup. I never knew that. But they perfectly capture a 90s vibe, but without being ironic. Every menu is a sincere and genuine admiration for the 90s obsession with weird shaped patterns and extreme clashing colors. Even how the logo stretches and moves is just wonderful. Like, how'd they do that? Look at that. Why is that so satisfying? Main menus feature radical chiptune covers of the Disney Afternoon theme song, and each game's menu features fantastic chiptune medleys of the respective soundtrack, courtesy of veteran music and sound effects artist Bob Baffy. For a lot of people, the most interesting part of this package is them extras, I'm happy to say. They're great too, featuring production sketches, beautiful scans of boxes, and magazine advertisements, though I have to say not all games are as represented as well as DuckTales. And personally speaking, the ability to listen to each game's soundtrack is an amazing feature. Some of the greatest melodies to ever grace a square wave came from these games. All games are rendered in bright, beautiful 1080. You can add scan lines like an old tube TV, play with cool custom borders, or stretch it to widescreen if you're like a weirdo or something. Ugh. You can pause and save anytime, but there's no quick load or quick save feature. They would have fit on the L2 and R2 buttons respectively, but with L1 you can rewind any game, which is just as good. Scans of instruction books were not included, but each game has a thorough how-to play section if you need a refresher. And all this is unlocked right from the beginning. It's like being a candy in a kid's store. But let's play devil's advocate for a minute here, because yes, while this package is considerably less expensive than anything you're gonna find on eBay, in the time it's gonna take me to finish this run on Sentence, you could have tabbed over and downloaded all 6 of these games for emulation. Your average emulator also has a much larger set of filters to play with and can stretch an NES game to be as big as your biggest monitor. The presentation is incredible and the gallery of bonus stuff is great, but there isn't too much that you can't find in a concentrated Google search. For example, there are images of television commercials, but not the actual commercial.
Totally hot. Way radical, man.
There are high-quality magazine scans, but no ability to zoom in. You have access to every game's soundtrack, but songs stop abruptly instead of fading out, and lack a repeat function. Also, it's a little weird to call this the Disney Afternoon Collection, but never give any historical insight into any of the cartoons or the 2-hour block of programming you're invoking. And finally, worst of all, the Disney Afternoon Collection is digital only. Like, digital only? Come on! Give us nerds what we want! A beautiful physical case that we can put on our shelves. We are the type of idiots who will rebuy things we already own. It's such a no-brainer, the only rational explanation I can think of is that they can't. Or at least not yet. There were no doubt some licensing issues abound with the Disney Afternoon Collection. For example, all Nintendo seals of quality, NES and Game Boy logos have been scrubbed from the gallery. I know it's weird that the various Game Boy counterparts weren't included in this package, but there's gotta be a reason why the freaking Game Boy logos weren't either. This game is also suspiciously not available on the Nintendo Switch, at least not yet. There are only a few genuine reasons to get the Disney Afternoon Collection. 1, you're a gigantic nerd. 2, you want to stick it to Nintendo as revenge for the NES Mini and give Capcom some love. Or 3, the speedrunning stuff. The biggest surprise of this package is the boss rush and time attack modes on each game, which are incredible. With just a push of a button, bam, you're speedrunning. There's a window off to the side that keeps track of your times as you checkpoint. It's hard not to immediately see the appeal of playing games like this. After you finish your run, you can watch other people's runs, compare against your friends. I've never given serious thought to speedrunning, but this could be my gateway into that world. Weighing the pros and cons, it's the $20 price tag that justifies the purchase of the Disney Afternoon collection. It's unfortunate this isn't a more definitive package, but what is included here does feel lovingly crafted. This could have been a quick, sleazy appeal to 90s nostalgia, but that wasn't the case. Now, should a physical copy ever materialize, you scoop up that sumbitch ASAP. But what about the games themselves? Well, I spent my childhood playing these games, but I'll be honest, I haven't played them since my old videos way back when. And Digital Eclipse did not tinker with these games. Warts and all, these are the original games just as they were. So, I always knew that one day I'd have to go back to my old videos. So, it's HVGN again. Let's run through these 6 games and see if my mind has changed. Let's go. Now, the 2 games in this set I've actually revisited over the years are DuckTales and Darkwing Duck. Let's start with DuckTales. Much the same way Earthbound has become that Undertale game, DuckTales is that Shovel Knight game. And hey, whatever gets the kids to learn a little history doesn't bother me, and it doesn't change the fact that DuckTales is a fantastic game, if still a little rough around the edges. Hit detection and a sometimes unresponsive pogo occasionally make the game more difficult than it should be, but it's a perfectly paced game that gets the most out of its short 6-level campaign. And of course, that soundtrack! Darkwing Duck, on the other hand, I've totally warmed up to. Its biggest issue is the stiff controls, like the grappling and the inability to shoot with your cape drawn. It's a hurdle to get over for sure, but the level design, boss battles, and music, oh god, the music, absolutely stand with the Mega Man games on the system. So I take back the claim that this is a poor man's Mega Man, and instead say that this is a lost Mega Man game, like the alternate Mega Man 7. Certainly better than Mega Man 4, that's right, Dustman, you suck! Don't you shrug at me! No, you leave and come back with something cooler than a shrug! Now, Rescue Rangers is a game that I, for whatever reason, haven't played since doing that review all those years ago, and you know what? Still a great game. Now, the controls are a little stiff, like jumping and throwing and ducking aren't as responsive as they should be, but throwing boxes is still pretty fun and feels good. Hit detection is also kinda loose, and feels cheap sometimes. These games make you realize just how tight Mega Man was. I'm still a sucker for that little big world perspective, and there's some great level variety here, like turning off faucets, hidden switches, running on light fixtures, climbing on books. There's some weird stuff though. Check out Zombie Gadget. Oh, she's catching flowers. And get a little old man Monty over here. But the soundtrack and 2-player mode really seal the deal here. I'm not sure if Rescue Rangers gets the same love as DuckTales, but it should. Up next, we have Tailspin. Now, I was none too kind to this game back in the day, but hey, it's also the one game in this set I've never actually beaten. And people defended this game in the comments section for years, and I know I made that joke at the beginning of the video, but hey, maybe I just need to give it a fair shake. So, you know what, Tailspin? It's your lucky day. Going back in, let's do this. Okay, alright, yeah. My opinion on this game has changed. I've beaten it, and it's clear to me now that I was way too easy on this game last time. Now that I've seen every terrible thing this game has to offer, I can say with confidence, the Tailspin is not garbage, it is hot, flaming garbage. Power-ups like the rapid fire and the speed upgrade are essential, but way too expensive, and even with them, some areas and bosses are just complete bullshit, like this area on the 4th level, and the 5th level boss, my god, Silver Surfer was never this hard. Apparently the pro strat here is to shoot the crane, which, by the way, the game made no indication I was damaging it, so I never did this. Or just getting full health and just outlasting it. You know, maybe it's good to be reminded that the NES also had terrible games. It makes the rest of this package seem that much better. It's still bad, it's always been bad, and Goof Troop should have been here instead. Lastly, we have DuckTales 2 and Rescue Rangers 2. Now in a way, these 2 games are the reason to buy this collection because they are far and away the most expensive games to buy nowadays. In fact, I don't even have a copy of Rescue Rangers 2. That was a friend's copy I used all those years ago. Even back then it was too expensive for my blood, and it's probably only gotten more expensive since. But again, this set was the first time I've played either of these games since those old reviews. And for DuckTales 2, I immediately remember my problem with DuckTales Remastered, which was that it was a much longer game, but not really a better one. In fact, DuckTales isn't really a game that carries for very long, but knew not to overstay its welcome. DuckTales 2 definitely does not realize this. Controls and hit detection are tighter, and it's got a few neat new gimmicks, but boy, it's long and boring. Yet, inoffensive, so it's fine. It's fine. However, wow, Rescue Rangers 2 is terrible. Okay, not as bad as Tailspin, but I was maybe too easy on it last time. The biggest surprise was the 2-player, which I had never actually played before, but was shocked to see that it ran like garbage. Get a load of that slowdown. Slowdown was a problem for a lot of 8 and 16-bit games, but this is pretty bad, and yep, the whole thing just plods along for what feels like an eternity. That's really the problem with the DuckTales and Rescue Rangers sequels. They both just feel passionless, but Rescue Rangers 2 is pretty genuinely lame. You can certainly do worse on the NES, but as far as this collection goes, it's a race to the bottom with Rescue Rangers 2 and Tailspin. Okay, if I sit on this couch much longer, I'm gonna start craving a glass of wine, so let's wrap this up. This is what Derek drinks. There are enough good games and enough bonus content on the Disney Afternoon Collection to merit a purchase. Here's hoping that Digital Eclipse can make follow-up collections and a physical release. But until then, I want to say thanks for watching, and this channel has been around for a while, and some of you have been here since day one, and that's just beyond words. Thank you so much for that. And for the new folks watching, I suggest you like, subscribe, and tell us which games you like to see ported to this generation in the comments below. Stop Skeletons from Fighting as a Patreon-supported show. Of course, a huge thanks to all these gorgeous people right here who have helped this channel grow over the last 2 years. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again real soon.
Fucking nerd.